Great to be here. My first time in Denmark. So I'm a little jet lagged. I spilled water on myself right before coming on stage, but I'm looking forward to a conversation about what it's like to be an early stage investor over the years and your thoughts on Europe. So great to be with you, Saeed. Um, so you've had a pretty impressive track record for an early investor, which is not easy to do. You discover these companies very early before they really even have a business. How do you know that a startup is going to succeed when it's just an idea?
So just to tell the audience a little bit, we help in 2024 3,000 startups. We sort of have boots on the ground in 50 universities, primarily like Stanford, MIT, Harvard, Berkeley, etc. So when we find talent, there could be PhD students or professor, we register 50 startups per year with Wilson Sonsini. So we kind of work with the very smart engineering team, and if they have some technology that can be applied to automotive industry, we do the product market fit, and then we register the company. We call it, we accelerate them for 6 months. And if we feel they are getting traction, we also write a check. So last year, I accelerated about 3,000 startups, and I wrote 247 checks, usually the first check in the company.
And so what kind of early momentum are you looking for? What traction do you want to see before writing that check?
So about a week ago, I actually invested in a Danish company called Seek, S-I-C. And it was very interesting because they had a couple of PhDs, but they also had a couple of senior executives from a specific manufacturing background. And they want to apply AI for manufacturing optimization. And quite frankly, they have a prototype. They are piloting the product. There is about 6 people full time. And that is like a perfect example when we come in. We need to have almost a product that can be piloted with Mercedes, with Merck's. And we then, it's early, still sometimes the company has not been registered, but we then do due diligence ourselves. Our corporate partner, we have like 580 of the world's largest companies, like Walmart, like Cargill, that they define the area they want to use technology. So we have them do due diligence as well. And then our VC friends, I co-invest with 400 VCs. So the VC friends do due diligence, and if a company is a little bit too early for them, they refer the company to us, and then maybe later on, 1 year later, they invest.
And so how would you compare yourselves to what Y Combinator is doing, what 500 Startups is doing? How do you differentiate yourself in the marketplace?
First of all, I love Y Combinator. Paul Graham invented this acceleration business. And then Sam Altman and Jeff Ralston, who ran it for many years, are really good friends. So they very much specialize only on the money raised. Like they are very good from seed round to A round. I would say they do a fantastic job. Dropbox, I met at Y Combinator, and it was when 2 people, Drew and Arash, and I took Dropbox to Sequoia, and we did the seed round with Sequoia, and Sequoia did the A round. So I feel like this 500 startup or Y Combinator, I think we need more of these platforms around the world. And sometimes we come after them, especially if it's a B2B business. So for example, for banking, for insurance, for fintech, we have 240 corporations looking for us for solution, like Allianz, like Munich Re, like Deutsche Bank, like BNP Paribas. So I think our differentiation is our corporate network.
And so, do a lot of these corporations then co-invest through like their venture arm, strategic investments alongside you?
So I would say about 20% of them co-invest with us, but majority of them just want to license the technology, like especially with AI right now. We feel the back office of an insurance company or a bank or their customer service department can reduce by 80% their cost. So the main reason why they work with us is to reduce their cost and have a better customer service. But some of them, like Allianz, has a CVC, and sometimes they co-invest with us, but it's in only 20% of the cases. And it's really not for return. It's really to build the relationship with the startup to solve a major challenge they have.
But you're motivated by returns, and you've had some good ones. What have you seen from the leading companies like Dropbox that they were doing early on that helped them succeed in the long run?
Specifically, Dropbox is really an interesting phenomena because they did picture sharing, file sharing better than anybody else. And if you want to share something, whoever you want to share it with has to download the app too. So it had a viral inside the business model. And in fact, up to 2 to 3 years, Dropbox gave you the functionality for free. And then they could predict when you have enough files in Dropbox that they could charge you $5 a month or $7 a month. So I think what Dropbox did is create the best business model there is because of the virality and the subscription model. So, if you take any B2C, I had a chance to invest in Box at the same time as Dropbox. And I chose Dropbox because Box was going for B2B businesses, and it's a slower growth. And quite frankly, at that time, I thought Dropbox technology was better.
So you could already tell early on that they just had a better technology stack. I mean, both of them actually went public. So, but I do believe last I checked, Dropbox has a bigger market cap than Box. So, but you felt like it was easy to see already.
So sometimes, like I have 450 financial services investment, and I have 24 unicorns, including N26 in Berlin. I seed funded that, including Flutterwave in Nigeria, which is biggest payment gateway in Africa. So sometimes if it's an industry we understand, we make 10 bets, and we hope all of them succeed. But the reality is, it used to be that
Not in the same market, or would you do multiple bets competing against each other in the same market?
I was going to tell you exactly that. It used to be that something does well in the US, like eBay, and then the Sambar brothers copied it in Germany, and then eBay bought it. But I think that still goes on. It is a very reasonable, like I have the biggest Instacart company in Latin America called Rappi. I don't think there is anything wrong with copying what works in a big market in a different geographic area. But frankly, we sometimes in the same industry make multiple bets. But if we can choose the best company, we think having one horse for one solution is good enough.
What do you think about AI? I mean, there's certainly a lot of enthusiasm from where I sit in the Bay Area, where you sit in the Bay Area, and it seems like there's enthusiasm for that here as well. But are we getting carried away? Is there a bit of a hype cycle here, or what do you think?
So I think an incredible bubble, an incredible hype, but also is the biggest change in technology I have ever seen. I believe like the internet was a big platform change, then mobile was big. I think AI is 10 times bigger. And just to give you an idea, I have a summit in June and in November. In June, I featured 360 startups to 3,000 investors and corporate partners. 340 of them were AI. But let me tell you like what I like in AI. Like one of my AI companies is called Penguin AI. It's healthcare infrastructure platform. A hub used to have 4,000 engineers at United Health and Optum Health. And he claims he built the same platform with 16 engineers under 1 year. And his valuation was reasonable. It was $20 million 10 months ago. And then before I came to Copenhagen, he called me and told me, Saeed, would you like to put your pro rata in 10 months? And I said, how much money are you raising? He said, 40 million at 200 million pre. I said, Ehab, what happened in 10 months? He said, I have 10 incredible pilots. And he said 8 out of the 10 is convert to full license at $4 million per year each customer. So I believe AI is a hype, but unless you do solve a specific problem and very small language models, the other AI company that I love is Turing. So Turing trains ChatGPT models, trains Google model. So it's a training model for AI. And Jonathan, I have known him for 16 years. This is the third company I invested in. But I invested in Turing at 20 million valuation. 3 months ago, he raised 200 million at 2 billion. And he doesn't need money. He's very profitable, providing the shovels for AI.
So there's a huge market opportunity if you're doing it right, but not everyone should try to position themselves as AI.
Yeah, so let me tell you, like I had the opportunity to invest in ChatGPT, OpenAI at 40 billion, and I didn't. now
What size check would you have had to write to get into
no,
that?
I only write, the maximum check I write is 2 million. I wanted to do it just to be part of the ride, but I couldn't get my head around it. And now I look stupid because apparently he's raising money at 400 billion. But I think, you know, ChatGPT or these incredible solutions will succeed, but I am not sure if the valuations is justified. So I much rather do my Penguin AI and Turing than try to hit the best one. And so far, so good. Like I have 40 unicorns that I seed funded. And in the AI category, I have 481 portfolio companies and 10 unicorns. So again, I don't think you need to invest in the top one, OpenAI. There is a lot of other exciting companies in the peripheral.
And so you said you recently invested in a Nordic startup. Are you doing a lot of investing here? What do you think of the Nordic region and Europe broadly?
So during COVID, the valuation went up crazy in California. And I used to do 80% of my investment in US, 20% around the world, including Singapore and Asia as well as Europe. During COVID, because I didn't believe in the valuation in US, I invested in about 50, 60 companies in Europe, mostly out of London and Paris and Munich, but I didn't look at the Nordic. But now I am here, and apparently we invested in 3 companies in Denmark in the last 3 months. So I think I'm here to stay and do more. And we love to be closer to the entrepreneur. We like to have people next to them to help them. If we just only write a check, it's not our model. We like the money to be very small part of our offering.
And so how are you mentoring these businesses? What kind of guidance are you providing beyond just a check?
Yeah, I must say I have 750 colleagues who are much, much smarter than me and much, much more educated. I mean, we have a bunch of PhDs from top universities. So they help the startup more than me. What I tell the entrepreneur is that you have to do 99% of the work. You have to be technically incredibly savvy, build a great product. We do 1% of the work. We put you in the front of the right customer. We put you in the front of the right VC. And sometimes that 1% makes a big impact. I like funny stories, so let me share with you. There is a very hype, exciting company called Glean, and Arvind pitched at my summer summit. And at the end of his 3-minute pitch, he said, I just raised $300 million at 4 billion pre. So frankly, I didn't know Arvind. I went to him and I said, why did you pitch, Arvind? He said, Saeed, you don't remember me. Last summit, I pitched on this stage and I got 38 corporate customers. And I said, my God, how come I didn't invest on the last round? So when you, like you mentioned, when you have a platform and you build the ecosystem, I think everybody should benefit. The startups, the entrepreneurs, the corporates, the VCs, And if everybody benefits, I believe plug and play will have its share of big outcomes. So I kind of believe in doing good and money will come.
What have you learned from the failures? I mean, you've certainly picked a lot of winners and unicorns, but
The
of
biggest,
the many that don't make it, what are they? What can they learn?
so let me first tell you what I missed, because I heard Tim Draper was here the year before last year, and I had a little joint venture with Tim that first Wednesday of the month, I would screen 4 investments, and he would come and sit with us 4 hours. By the end of that, we would invest in one. So I agreed with Brian of Airbnb to give him $400,000 at 2 million pre. Tim was going to write $300,000 check. I was going to write, my normal check size is $100,000. But at that time, Tim said, Saeed, we should give them 4 million. I said, I don't have 4 million. Apparently he does. And I said, why? He said, if they have one lawsuit, we don't have enough money for the lawyer. So he decided not to invest, and I didn't invest, and that's one of my biggest failure. But we don't mind if a company fails as long as we have had incredibly hard work and they did their best. In fact, I invest in third-time founders, and sometimes the first 2 times they have failed. I'd like them if they were successful, but in the best part of Northern California, where I am at, is failure is accepted. I mean, if you don't try to build something incredible, you're not going to fail. But we feel failure is part of the game, but I just hope to win more than I fail.
Well, there you have it. It was great chatting with you, and yeah, looking forward to learning more today.
Thank you so much. It's great to be in Denmark, and I hope that next time I'm here, we will have a very active plug and play investment office here. Thank you, everybody. Thanks.